What's going on, guys? My name's Theoatrix, and today I'll be revealing every Duel Arena scam that you might come across if you ever decide to go staking. The Duel Arena is flooded with scammers. If you've ever tried to stake there, at least half of the people that try to duel you will try to scam. The purpose of this video is to make you aware of all of these sneaky moves that players do at the Duel Arena. After watching this video, you'll understand how to avoid them and what to look out for. I'm going to start off with the one that's most visible to see when you're walking around the Duel Arena. And that is when a low player is advertising that they're staking any level and asking you to trade them for a maple shortbow and arrows. The Shortbow scam has multiple layers. They can scam people from the beginning, or if they try to anti-scam, they have other tricks up their sleeve that will get you. Upon trying to enter a duel with one of these scammers, they'll give you a maple shortbow and some arrows. Some of the time, the scammer will trade you rune arrows, and maple shortbows can only shoot up to adamant arrows. So when you enter the duel, your bow won't be able to shoot these rune arrows, leading you to lose. Sometimes the scammer might give you adamant arrows, or you might consider going to the bank and getting them, and you'll think, great, I can use these arrows and beat this guy and take the scammer's money. Well, in that case, the scammer will either turn off the ammunition slot or the shield slot in the duel settings. And without ammunition, the scammer will use darts or knives to kill you since you can't use the bow. Or without the shield slot, you won't even be able to wear the bow since they're two-handed. Further, the scammers sometimes accept the duel even if you bring along darts or knives to try to anti-scam them. This is because they turn off weapon switching, so if you're wearing the bow, you won't be able to swap to the knives or darts in order to kill them. The way to avoid this is completely ignore anyone that's low level trying to stake you, and avoid anything that seems too good to be true. This scam is set up so that anti-scammers will also get lured in, and anytime that the scammer actually accepts the duel, it means they've got you in some other way. These scammers know every trick in the book, and it's almost impossible to anti-scam them, so don't even try. Next is item scams, and these ones are done during regular normal staking with either a tentacle whip or DDS stakes. When you're entering a duel, you can view the opponent's inventory and equipped items. So to avoid these scams, you need to thoroughly check both of these to ensure that they don't have any of these items with them. The first is the Dragon Warhammer. When you stake, the player that has a lower PID or player ID has a slight advantage over the other person, because with a lower player ID, your hit splats appear first, even if you're attacking at the exact same time. So if the duel comes down to both players having very low hit points, usually the person with player ID advantage will win because their hit splat will appear first. When people don't have the advantage, they will commonly click away and make it so they attack between each hit instead of at the same time. And this is done so that they can use defensive when the other person attacks and go back to flick or lash when they're attacking for that slight defense advantage. Well, the Dragon Warhammer attacks every 6 game ticks, whereas the whip attacks every 4. So the scammer will attack once with the Dragon Warhammer if they don't have that advantage, and that will do the same thing as clicking away. But the reason why this is a scam is because the Dragon Warhammer has higher bonuses than the whip. The Warhammer has plus 95 crush and 85 strength, whereas the tentacle has plus 90 slash and plus 86 strength. So the max hits are exactly the same, they're both 25 with max stats, but the Warhammer has a higher attack bonus, meaning they have a better chance of hitting, so don't stake anyone with a Dragon Warhammer. The next item to avoid is weapons that give a defense bonus. Scammers will wear these items between hits in order to give them a defense bonus while they're being attacked. There's a few items that do this. The most common one is the Zamorakian Hasta, which provides a plus 13 slash defense bonus. There's also the Aram Staff, which is one-handed after an update a few years ago, and that provides a plus 5 slash defense bonus. So these items are another one to look out for in the inventory check window. Be sure to also check what the player is wearing, because sometimes they'll wear the Hasta and have the whip in their invent, so it's a little more hidden. The last 4 items items that you need to check for are the Garazi Rapier, Inquisitor's Mace, and the Blade of Seldor, including the corrupted version. All of these items provide higher attack and higher strength bonuses than the Tentacle Whip, so scammers will use these items as their main weapon in the stake, giving them a far better advantage over the Tentacle Whip. So again, make sure you check their inventory and equipped items thoroughly. Building on from these scams, there's a few other sneaky ways that these players will try to smuggle these items. At the Duel Arena, it's pretty common to constantly stake the same person over and over again. In some cases, people will have 2 accounts with very similar names, and after you've staked them normally a few times, they'll swap accounts and stake you with their other account, but this time bringing along one of these scamming items. Since you've staked them quite a few times with no problems, it's common to assume that you won't check them for any scamming items, since you already know that they aren't scamming. The same thing can be done if the player quickly trades their friend after a stake. Their friend might give them a rapier and then try sneak it into the next duel, hoping that you don't check. So this means you should always double check the equipment and inventory window. Even if you've staked the person a few seconds earlier, they can easily trick you and smuggle in one of these items. A quick word about my merch store. A couple of days ago, 4 poster designs just arrived at the warehouse, and they'll be in stock this week. There's 3 designs that I've previously had on gaming mousepads, but there's the new Vorkarth design, which is easily my favorite one yet. The posters are 24 by 13 inches, and they're made with synthetic paper, so they're almost impossible to scratch or tear, and they'll still look amazing on the wall. If you want one of these posters, or you want to get a gaming mousepad, be sure to check out my merch store at merch.theoatrix.net. The next category of scams is duel setting scams, and all of these can easily be avoided if you set up and save a preset duel setting by using the buttons in the bottom right of the duel window. It's a really good idea to ask a friend of yours that stakes to help you set these up, because they can import the correct duel settings with their save, then you can save it directly from them. On the screen right now is the settings that should be active for a regular whip stake, so you can copy these if you don't have a friend to save it from. These are the settings for a DDS stake, so you can screenshot either one of these and save it somewhere if you're ever unsure. When you're entering a duel, there'll be a tick shown next to the save button, and that indicates that the current settings are identical to the ones that you have saved. If you see that tick disappear or it doesn't show up, then the person you're staking is trying to scam you. Duel setting scams are probably the most common type of scam that you'll come across when you're staking. There's a number of variations that scammers will try. Firstly, there's the Platebody Scam, where they enable the Platebody slot to be active and they'll wear a high defense body armor, like a Barrow's body piece or the Justicea plate body. There's the Magic Scam, where players will turn on magic, so when you enter the stake, you won't be able to attack with your whip and they'll kill you with magic. The same can be done with ranged. There's also the Food or Potions Scam, where the scammer turns on the ability to use one of these and it allows them to eat to stay alive, or to use a super combat potion to have far better stats than you. As I mentioned, all of these duel setting scams can be avoided if you save your preset as the correct settings. From my experience, at least half of the people that try to stake you are doing one of these duel setting scams. It's ridiculous how many people try, and they must keep trying because so many people are falling for it. So overall, here's 3 tips to avoid getting scammed at the arena. Firstly, never enter a stake that seems too good to be true. This could be with the Maple Shortbow scam, or if the player's considerably lower level than you and seems to want to do a regular stake. They will always have some sort of trick up their sleeve. Do not try to anti-scam any of these people, because they won't enter the duel unless they know that they've got you. So even if you think you've got the anti-scam down, it's almost guaranteed that the scammer will have some other kind of trick. Second, always triple check the invent and worn items window to ensure that they don't have any of those scamming items. Even if you've been staking that person for a while, there's still a chance that they'll sneak in one of these items, so always check. Lastly, make sure you have your duel settings saved to the correct ones, and if the tick disappears, it means they're trying to scam you. So that's all of the Duel Arena scams that you should know about. If you want to go get a poster or gaming mousepad, be sure to check out merch.theoatrix.net. Currently, orders aren't active for European customers because I'm in the process of getting a new shipping carrier for Europe. So if you want to be notified when European orders are back, you can go to the cart page, and down the bottom you can enter your email to get notified. Anyways, thanks for watching.